Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And in this one I wanted to talk about the very possibility that multiplayer for Call of Duty may not be for casuals anymore. And I'm not just talking about Black Ops 4, but I'm talking about the future as well. And I'm going to get into it. And now before any of you start thinking about skill-based matchmaking and stuff like that, I wanted to address something that kind of leads into this commentary. So please hear me out. Now, whether you believe there is skill-based matchmaking or not in Call of Duty is definitely something that I respect. I respect both sides, whether you agree with me or not, of whether there is or is not skill-based matchmaking in this game. Everybody has their points that make sense, and I more than respect that. And I've always, and in my life as well, what I do is I always leave something open to where, just in case I'm wrong, so that way I don't end up looking like an idiot in the end. Because, again, everybody has their points of view, so therefore I can't really say that I'm right or that I'm wrong simply because of my personal experience, because everybody has their experience and their points of view, right? So, in terms of multiplayer, I am starting to believe, whether there's skill-based matchmaking or not, I am starting to believe that multiplayer itself is not going to be for the casual population anymore. And let me explain why. Now, first of all, there's Blackout, right? And there's been a lot of people that said, whether they're multiplayer purists or not, there are a lot of people playing Blackout. And I think that a vast majority of them, whether they're Call of Duty fans or not, which most of them probably are playing Blackout. They've migrated from multiplayer to Blackout. And you guys know how Battle Royale has been extremely popular, right? And you know what else has been gaining popularity as well? Esports. Like, competitive Call of Duty multiplayer has been extremely popular. The players have been getting more and more popular. They're getting more views. Streaming is bigger than ever now. Prize pools for tournaments the cash money that they get is, right? It's been increased over the last few years. So, and that's because obviously that things are moving on up. Things are getting more popular, so therefore there is more money for the players. That's great and all. That's great. Things are moving on up. But the one thing that has my mind stirring a little bit is the fact that you've got the competitive side gaining popularity. Multiplayer, in terms of overall pubs multiplayer, isn't exactly what it used to be in terms of popularity, right? Esports is growing, and Battle Royale is growing, and we have Blackout now. So when you put everything together, just by default, without even putting skill-based matchmaking into the mix, again, I'm not saying whether there is or there's not, we don't have any evidence, but when you put everything together and you look at it from that perspective, and if a whole bunch of casual players have migrated on to Blackout because Battle Royale is where it's at nowadays, which obviously it is, thanks to Fortnite and the H1Z1, which started it all, and then PUBG. And now we got this monster Fortnite or whatnot that in some ways Black Ops 4 is trying to copy off of, right? Well, can you really blame the casuals for moving on to something else? Now, I'm not saying that there's not any casuals in the multiplayer still. I'm just saying the percentage of it is so much lower, and the percentage of the sweats are higher, because the multiplayer purists are going to stick with it, and they're going to say, nah, Blackout's not really my thing. And when you look at it, and when you look at also the overall influence from content creators as well, people like myself. Now, I'm a small fry, but still, regardless of the fact that I'm a little guy, and compared to some of those other big guys, we have an influence over the community, and we've had an influence on the community for years now. So, realistically, when you put everything together, it may not even be all of if skill-based matchmaking does exist, it may not be entirely its fault. It could be also the fact that the population now just has a higher percentage of sweats in terms of multiplayer. And in terms of Blackout, obviously, I don't hear anybody complaining about skill-based matchmaking in Blackout. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that there's not good players playing on Blackout. As a matter of fact, there are good players playing on Blackout, but simply because of the fact that the population of Battle Royale and Blackout is just so much higher overall that it's a lot more casual. And on top of that, you have so many people on the map that you literally can't put skill-based matchmaking on, or else you're not going to be able to find consistent matches until like 20 minutes in between lobbies, and nobody wants that. So they really can't put it there in the first place. So it's more of a luck of the draw, basically the way it used to be for older Call of Duty titles. And I think the fact that we have Blackout now, which is another mode, has divided players even more. So that plays another factor. And who knows, it might play a factor in the connection as well. I'm just speculating on that. I'm not sure. But just throwing things out of my ass in terms of connection. I just thought I'd mention that. But, and next year with Modern Warfare 4, I have a feeling, obviously, that we're going to get a Battle Royale again. It's been something that's been talked about. And the thing is, there are a lot of legendary maps in the Modern Warfare franchise that are legendary, that a lot of people actually love, from Modern Warfare 1 and from COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, and even Modern Warfare 3, even though I personally don't think that there's nothing, there aren't too many maps in that game specifically that like stand out, in my opinion, except for maybe Dome. But like I said, I'm not saying like the maps were terrible or anything like that. I'm just saying there's no map in my head that just stands out or whatnot. But the thing is, they certainly have a lot of material in order to build a map for the Battle Royale mode, or whatever they're going to call it. I don't think it's going to be called Blackout, but whatever it's going to be called, they certainly have a lot of material, a lot of maps, a lot of weapons, and all that kind of stuff. And Treyarch has already kind of laid the example, so you know those guys could put their own spin on it. So with the overall popularity of Blackout and all the other things that I mentioned previously in this video, from those of you that say that there is no skill-based matchmaking and there's other things involved, this is just a few reasons why I respect where you guys are coming from. Because from everything that I just mentioned, doesn't that kind of make sense? And at the same time, for those of us that do believe that there is skill-based matchmaking in this game, we could certainly blame it on that, because we can tell the way players are playing. And I've had people in my comment section that are saying that in previous Call of Duty games, they were averaging a 4 to 4.5, and in this game they're averaging a 1.8, and that's a big, big difference. So when you put everything together, still, in terms of where you lie, there still may or may not be skill-based matchmaking, but one thing is for sure, if what I'm saying makes absolute sense, and from everything that I've seen on social media and what people have been saying, it kind of does, I guess. It just seems like right now we have a higher concentration of sweats in multiplayer because a lot of people have migrated on Blackout, and a lot of players are just playing Blackout. And whoever's left, especially now after a few months after the game's released, this is what we're dealing with now. And come Christmas time, if things seem like they're a little bit softer, well, it's simply because we got a whole bunch of newbies, and it's only going to be a matter of time before we whoop their ass, and then they move on to Blackout as well. So it's going to be a rinse and repeat thing if that is the case. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to mention that in this video. I thought it made for a very interesting subject, so I want you guys to tell me what you think, what your opinion lies. You guys are very sensible people. The communication and support has been absolutely amazing, stupendous. It's been fabulous. Not so many good words. But yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.